line. And let's talk to our buddy Eliot Shorr-Parks. Eliot Shorr-Parks, sponsored by Colonial Hyundai. Shop online 24/7 at colonialhyundai.com. Colonial Hyundai, the faster, easier, better way to buy a Hyundai. Eliot Shorr-Parks, of course, of the Go Birds podcast, our beat reporter here at WIP, and someone who I believe might battle with Jon Ritchie in a minute. How you doing, E?
Well, excited to hear what that's about, but excited to be on nonetheless. Yeah.
So let's just get into it, and we'll hear what happened over the weekend with practice and all that a little bit later. But Jon gave an impassioned speech about an hour ago or so, saying how he is tired of the kind of the vibe coming out from camp from a lot of the reporters, really the vast majority of reporters, about it really being a rough camp and the Eagles not looking great and the joint practices, losing the joint practices. So just from your perspective, your opinion on, kind of how this has been a bit of a down camp from your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe in this instance, it's important to point out, it's not just me. It's not like all the
that's
other
a lot of the reporters. Yep.
Right. Well, the reason I'm saying that is to say that, we don't control what happens out on the practice field. I'm not the one out there not throwing touchdowns, like Jalen Hurts is not throwing touchdowns. I'm not the one out there at the second cornerback spot not winning the job, like Adoree hasn't won it, like Keeley hasn't won it. So I understand coming off of a Super Bowl, people probably don't want to hear that the camp's not been great, but this is one of the challenges that the team is going to face this year. The 2024 Eagles, that's not the roster we're watching out there. The team that played in the Super Bowl is not the team in training camp that we're reporting on and that we're trying to convey to fans how they're playing. That's not that team. So I understand, again, the excitement of last year, and I think they're going to be a very good team, but I do not think they're having a great training camp. And frankly, I wouldn't even ignore what the reporters are saying. Listen to what they're saying. Fangio said yesterday, normally at this point you want somebody to have won that job when speaking about the cornerback job.
So we've got one spot. We've got one spot where we have some uncertainty. The outside cornerback spot. We do have a young man in Cooper DeJean who has demonstrated an ability to play both outside cornerback, nickel, slot cornerback, and safety. So whoever we don't have of those positions, he can fill in. I think that's part of why you're seeing him play at corner, at safety, at nickel, because he really can even it out. And they're going to keep going back to the well and bringing guys in until they find the right guy. I am not concerned, I guess, as you are, that this is going to be a problem as we enter the season. Guys get released at crazy moments during the preseason. A vet would go a long way. But maybe it's a safety they decide to go with. And Cooper DeJean has proven he's got the versatility to literally do everything. In my mind, he's part of the reason why the defense is as good as it is and was as good as it was and will be as great as it will grow into this season. Whether he's at safety, nickel, or corner.
Well, unfortunately, he can't play all three, right? So, he can only play one. But that's the point.
He can fill in where we need it.
Right, but I guess what I'm saying is you said he's demonstrated an ability to play safety and outside corner. That's not true. He's not played them in the NFL. We don't know
he's
if he
playing them in practice, and I'm really impressed by his ability to do these things in practice, by his ability to go inside, outside, and safety.
Right.
And by the way, this whole the idea that we lost our practice against the Browns too, I felt like that is the root of a lot of the problem here. I watched that Browns practice. I watched Jalen throw behind his receivers all day because he was rushed the entire day, because Myles Garrett was in our backfield the second the ball was snapped, it felt like, most of the time. He was absolutely harassed. And he's trying to throw to whom? A.J. Brown is standing on the sideline with a baseball cap on. And so, that's his go-to in many cases. I know he's a little light on weapons as well during this camp. Where, for my money, the idea of going out there 2 days in a row and hitting, that is brutal. And I know because we used to do that. I don't think these guys are as used to it. and I could see the soreness on them. I could see the soreness on both sides. But I didn't think that put a damper on the performance as much as these guys are working their way through it, but it's not the stars. It's Saquon standing and watching, AJ standing and watching, Jalen running for his life because Myles Garrett is just that good. And so I do think there were some circumstances that worked against this team past just them underperforming.
Yeah, so I mean, it sounds like we agree a lot more than maybe James insinuated. Like, you agree they weren't good against the Browns. That's exactly what I said. They were not good against the Browns. You agree they should probably go out and add a veteran corner, a safety. Mm-hmm. I agree with that too, right? So, but I think where maybe we differ is, like, I'm not just going to say, well, they're having all these problems and no big deal when the season begins, they'll all fix themselves. Like, maybe it will, right? Like, maybe week 1, Dallas, they'll go out, they'll look awesome, and it'll be, none of this matters.
Yeah, I think you should have more faith that this team who just put it all together
That's
and
what
won
I've
it
said.
all
I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt more than
can figure this out better than what is being indicated. And I'm telling you, I don't think it's supposed to look that easy running the football the way that it looked against the Cleveland Browns in practice. And that's with Shipley and A.J. Dillon. Both were breaking loose all day long. And Darius Cooper is a hidden gem. Darius Cooper, I've been so impressed with the way he's looked, but then in the preseason game, we didn't see much of him, on the TV copy, that the official preseason game. Darius Cooper they're holding him. They're holding him for the regular season. We were told by our owner that Ben Van Sumeren was going to be utilized.
Hold on. So you think they're holding Darius Cooper for the regular season
so
that he can make an
they're
impact?
Not showing
That's why you
anything.
think the offense is struggling. You think Darius Cooper is going to be their hidden weapon for the regular season. They're holding him back now.
No, but I think he'll make the team.
Yeah, he'll make the team. He'll probably also be inactive. Like, Darius Cooper is an exciting prospect that they might have found as an undrafted free agent. If Darius Cooper is going to be the reason,
and the point is, they're not going to show him or anything else. They're not going to show the new plays with the fullback that we were told by the owner is going to be a part of the offense. Like, I do think they are keeping it so close to the vest that you can't judge what they're doing.
Well, but here's where I guess I disagree. Like, I've seen, and you've been parts of training camps. Like, you watch training camps, and I've watched training camps, right? And, like, it's not like they have some new philosophy this year that, okay, 2025, we're going to hide all the fullback plays in camp, and because of that, our offense isn't going to look good. But then when the regular season begins, we're going to unleash the fullback in Darius Cooper. Like, that's not what's happening. They always, you're right, to a certain degree, hold back stuff in practice. But I know that based off other training camps I've seen, they don't look as good as they did in past years. Like, we can just say, yes, believe them, and I think there's truth to that. But it's not a lie that Jalen has thrown fewer touchdowns in training camp this year than he has any other year he's been the quarterback for this team in training camp. Like, by a wide margin.
He's probably thrown it a lot fewer times.
No, that's not true. He's not thrown it fewer times. He has thrown it roughly the same amount of times. So,
all right. Well, your stats support whatever you want. I don't think they matter.
Don't support whatever I want. They're just the stats, right? Like, they are the stats. Last year,
okay, use them as you will. I don't think they're as important as you do, and I think they're trying new things. I think that's what camp is. You learn what this team is good at during camp, and right now, when they're doing their best to hide everything with this new offensive coordinator, this new play caller. You're not gonna see a powerhouse performance in the They don't care the way it looks.
Do you think they've attacked this training camp differently than they attacked last year's training camp?
Probably with a new offensive coordinator and play caller.
They had a new offensive coordinator and new play caller last year.
So that was different, don't you think?
Why?
Because it's a new offensive coordinator and play caller.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. You're saying this year that they're holding things back because they have a new offensive coordinator and play caller.
I think they hold things back every year.
So then why some years do they look better than others? If the philosophy is every year that we're going to hold things back and we're going to, like, keep it for week 1.
I don't know. Maybe because A.J. Brown was practicing in other years. Maybe because other stars like Saquon Barkley, who really didn't have much of an opportunity to play in practice against the Browns or at all in the preseason game.
So Saquon,
he didn't have a rep.
Saquon has had over 100 touches in training camp this year. That's like probably 30 or 40 more touches than he had in training camp last year.
Against the Browns?
No, against the Browns on day 2, you're right. He did not practice a ton. I guess what I'm saying is, like, yes, it's possible that come week 1, all these concerns that we see end up not being a problem, and they probably will.
I doubt all the concerns will not end up being problems. Some of them will be problems, but we will be a lot better off than what feels like the doom that all assume is upon this team. I think this team is going to dominate people this year.
Okay, you could be right. I think they probably will win 11 games, right? Like 11, 12 games, somewhere in that range. But, like, the practices are the practices, and there could be reasons for it, but I'm not the only one coming out of these practices saying they're not looking good. Jalen is not having a great camp.
And I can tell you, sometimes you can't even get out of bed. After you've hit 2 days in a row when they have not hit at all, when you're trying to get out there and get moving, it's not exactly the easiest thing to get going. I think that's part of the problem, too. I'd like to see them toughen up in that respect. But, hey, I'm open mind. I do believe this team will be outstanding. It just hasn't looked that way quite yet. I'm not worried that the team is broken as a result of what I've seen during training camp.
Agreed. I don't think the team is broken either. I think they will be a good team this year. But I also think that they are not. The issues are the issues. Like Fangio is saying it. The offensive coordinator, Patullo, Nick Sirianni is saying it. Like, they're having too many negative plays on offense. And I agree that A.J. Brown not being out there is part of it. But also, to an extent, like, we can sit here and say A.J.'s not out there, Landon's not out there, Zach Bond has missed a lot of camp. Like, that's a problem, too. That I would guess that the core 11 guys we think are going to play the most on offense have probably taken less than 100 snaps together so far in training camp. And training camp's over tomorrow. So they're just not getting that work in that they would because of the injuries. And again, maybe it'll all be okay.
And that's the way it is everywhere in the NFL now, and we just have to suspend our disbelief that this is the type of work that they need to get ready for the regular season. Well, it doesn't feel like it would have gotten me ready.
I don't think they are ready.
But it seems like it works for them by the time the season starts.
It's not. Saquon said it. The first 4 weeks of the season are preseason.
The first month of the season
That's the point. I think they just do it differently, where now they look at the first month of the season as part of that process that you guys did in training camp and preseason to get ready for the season. They almost just take the first 4 games and say, all right, this is our version of that, which is, it's different for sure. Eliot, quickly, the Eagles made a trade over the weekend. Didn't get a ton of thought, and look, relates to the Darius Cooper making the team thing. John Metchie, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think this is a good example of just taking advantage of what's probably an underappreciated asset right now and taking a flyer on it. Like, they don't need a receiver, right? Like, I don't think this is about the bottom half of the roster at receiver not playing well. I don't think this is about them not liking Darius Cooper. I think this guy was drafted 44th overall. I think it was 2 years ago. They clearly liked him in that draft process, didn't draft him, and they trade him for a guy in Harrison Bryant that probably was not going to make the team, like maybe might have, but you basically give up a player that did not have a big role on your team for a flyer. So I think John Metchie will probably make the team. If you look at the history of Howie, when he acquires people in that final week of training camp, they normally do make the team, but there's 2 days of practice left starting today at 10 o'clock, and then they have their final preseason game. So I'm excited to see him out there. His career up till this point for a variety of issues has probably not gone how he's wanted, but he comes back to, he's back with Devontae. We'll see. So I think it's a smart trade to make. I think it's a good flyer to make. And we'll see if it works out.
A lot of people supposed it was because of something going on behind the scenes, worries behind the scenes at the wide receivers, but you do not feel that way.
No, I don't.
That's
I don't.
great.
No,
I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is just about, he was a
It's
second-round
pedigree.
pick.
It's impossible for guys to lay off. The front office guys, if they see someone who is drafted 44th, holy cow, he's available.
Especially if they did a bunch of work on him and they liked him. If they had been at 44, they would have taken him there. And it's like, now we can get our development guys on him,
Yeah, totally. And now we can get our coaches teaching him football our way. We know we can bring the best out of this guy.
Yeah, it's fascinating. In fact, it seems like something the Eagles have been doing a lot of. Zach Berman tweeted out, since the start of 2024, the Eagles have added 28 players who were drafted in the first 3 rounds by another team. It's fascinating. Eliot, one more for you. It's the Twitter poll question of the day today, sponsored by Armin Chevrolet. Armin's annual sizzling summer saving event is on now. Visit arminchevy.com for details. Together, let's drive to Armin Chevrolet. And it's a question you're more uniquely suited to answer, I think, than even the Twitter audience, because it's about who do you want to win the job, not who do you think. And you're there every day. You see how these guys practice. You see how they've been playing. So who do you want to win the cornerback job between Ja'Cory Bennett, Adoree Jackson, and Kelee Ringo? Just, I know you're a reporter, but if you could step back and say, what do you think is best for the Eagles if that person wins the job?
So I think when camp started, without question, the best possibility for them, and probably the ones the fans wanted too, was Kelee Ringo. Like, that would have been the best case. He's young. He's been with the team. Like, that's who you wanted to step up and win the job. It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. So out of Adoree Jackson and Ja'Cory Bennett, I think it's very clear. Like, you want Ja'Cory to win that job. If they can somehow end this year with Ja'Cory Bennett having played 800-plus snaps at outside corner for them at a high level, like, that's an awesome, awesome outcome, because he's also young like Kelee. He obviously not been here as long, but he is someone that then you could potentially have grow with Quinyon, Cooper, the safeties, and the defense, where he could be here for a few years. I think Adoree Jackson, if it ends up being him all year, that's probably a disappointing outcome for the team, because he is a free agent after the year. He is an older veteran. He's just not a building block piece. So I think Ja'Cory Bennett would be the, outside of Kelee, I would say it's Ja'Cory.
All right, Eliot. And you said the schedule for the week, practice and the game is on Friday. Is that correct?
Yeah, the game is Friday. So
Friday.
Yeah, so they have 2 more days of practice of training camp. Today, tomorrow, off Thursday, game Friday, and then
it's over, right? And technically, training camp is over.
Best time of the year is over, so that'll be the end of that.
Poor Eliot Shorr-Parks.
I know. And then final cuts will begin, and sooner or later, you'll be able to yell "Dallas sucks" because it'll be Dallas.
Dallas sucks, buddy. You can yell that at any time. Check out Eliot's work. Obviously, he will have his 53-man roster predictions. He's already done it, but I'm saying more as they get closer and all that. And the Go Birds pod. Thanks, E.
Yep. Talk to you guys.
Thanks,
all
Eliot.
right, pal.